Augmented reality will be the next generation human interface to information. You can talk about it within the enterprise, you can talk about it within the consumer, it doesn't matter. That's the power of augmented reality.
Augmented reality is really simple. It's really just the overlay of digital information over your real-world view.
And you see people all the time on their phones. We think this is kind of the next step forward of having information with you all the time. People make better decisions and they're able to do more and do more quicker with this technology.
It's a really thrilling time. We do feel like that inflection point that we've been telling everyone, it's coming guys, you know, that this inflection point is about to happen, and you know, we're seeing it right now.
The words critical mass come to mind, I think.
Yeah, inflection point is the word I would say.
So you can tell that the buzz is really catching on. There's a lot of momentum in the market, and people are going to take notice because really they're going to have no other choice. They are either going to be an early adopter or a laggard, and nobody wants to admit the fact that, oh yeah, I was late to the table, I was late to the game.
And the extent to which we're now seeing major industrial players pick up the technology and start to use the technology, both on their factory floor and in the field, I think we're finally getting to see that transition to more kind of consistent usage.
In my opinion, you know, true wearable AR has only really been possible in the last couple of years. Although it's been around for a long time, there's always been restrictions, like you have to be tethered, or you know, you can't track in real time, whatever. In the last couple of years, that's become possible.
You know, the first few years were really tough, and a lot of innovation teams, as we said, were like coming to us. We're really interested in looking at augmented reality, experimenting with it.
The evolution has been dramatic, and especially over the past year. Now we're seeing companies that come to us at a rate that just keeps on building. It doubles every month, and they understand the use case. They have a kind of sophisticated sense of where it's going to add value, and so the conversation is just much more mature.
How people used to consume information went from paper to, you know, old school computer terminals that are static into laptops, smartphones, tablets, and now the next progression is on wearable interfaces. And unlike a smartwatch or other kinds of wearable devices that don't give you necessarily that real-time heads-up information that's contextually relevant, augmented reality does.
And so that whole conversation has changed to now, you know, the hands-free mode of interaction with your computing tools is a no-brainer, and people basically want to invest the time and the money and the internal resources to make that happen.
I was looking at the hype cycle, the Gartner hype cycle. So we've passed the moment of ultimate hype, and now we're down in that place that they call the trough of disillusionment. So from there, it's a slow climb back up. So I think that where we are is that in that continuum, I think that we've been subject to maximum hype. I think we've passed that, and now we are, all of us, I believe, starting to find the real use cases that we add value.
Because the possibilities, I think, are endless, and I think, you know, we haven't even really begun to understand all the use cases for AR.
Look, it's been interesting because I think there is a level of consistency in the point that we're doing a lot of proof of concepts, and that is, I think, is in line with where the technology and where the industry is at the moment.
It's quite easy to demo it today, so the barrier to get someone to understand it is quite low.
I think what's interesting about AR is that it's at the same time the most advanced technology that we've seen and the most simple to use technology that we've seen. I think that's the first time that's ever happened, is that you know, something becomes so advanced that you don't have to know how to use it, which in itself is kind of an interesting paradox, right?
Well, before Pokemon Go came, it would have been a tougher challenge, you know, to describe AR to somebody. But now I think a lot of people know about, you know, after seeing Pokemon Go, they know what AR is.
If we're honest, it's Pokemon.
I'm going to disagree with that.
I'm kidding. It didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt. No, it definitely raised awareness, but I really think it's the investment from the hardware companies.
So many kind of technology players, the hardware players, who have these more mature offerings, but also to see such a broader variety of offerings coming in. There are so many companies now, and all the kind of household names, Microsoft and Sony and Samsung, and everyone is building for AR now, which is really exciting.
I think over the next 20 years, definitely we're moving to an area where there's more artificial intelligence, there's more automation, that kind of thing.
My feeling is that we're going to have a lot more. We need to do a lot more work on the integration of we call it frontier technologies like AI, AR, big data, or IoT. The integration of that will make the next steps.
Integration, I think, is everything moving forward, and not just AR, but AR, VR, AI, big data, analytics, robotics. It's just integration. It's IoT. It's everything working together.
Really, in the same way that the internet has transformed the way that we are operating as a society now, the use of augmented reality and these extended ways of interacting with this digital data is going to completely change our lives, and for the better.